Jacob Allen-Cocker with ABC, hitting coordinator with the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll take a look at your video today. We'll let it run through a couple times. I like your setup position. It's a good, strong, athletic setup position. Get very good separation by taking the hands back and get those hands separated back over your backside. I like the height, the shoulder height, where everything's good there. See, one thing that I think that we can talk a little bit about as I slow this down and start to draw some lines a little bit, but we want to make sure when that stride foot lands that we don't over-open that stride foot that causes that front hip to want to leak open a little bit quickly, causes the bat and the hands and everything to work around that front side, and we can get that stride foot in a little bit better position that's going to allow for more release of the barrel to keep that barrel in the zone longer and put it in a position that we can handle pitches on both sides of the plate. So I'm just going to slow it down now. This is the load position as your hands start to go back. That all looks very, very good. Okay. Now when the foot sets down, we're basically when the heel plants right here. There's some things that we look for. I look for with all my hitters. The first thing that I look for is, we want to have good equal bend in both knees. Okay. We're pretty good there. We want to make sure our knees are inside of our feet. Okay, and this is just balance, really, basically. We want to make sure that our hips are square, our shoulders are square, hands are shoulder height, and they're separated back behind this back knee. We want this head to be seen right over the belt buckle. That's a good attacking position to be in. The one thing that I see at this particular time is this front hip is starting to leak open just a little bit too early to the pull side. And when it starts to leak open, basically our hands and the barrel of the bat are going to swing around that hip line. So we want to try to keep this hip a little bit more squared up. Probably the biggest thing that causes that front hip to want to open and leak open early is this stride foot. If the stride foot opens up any more than 45 degrees, it's going to cause that front hip to want to leak open. And we can see here you're at 54 degrees. So that basically is going to cause this hip. If this stride foot stays more in this position at a 45 degree angle or less, then that hip line is not going to be open like this. It's going to be more squared up. Okay, that's going to put you in a position to handle the ball in, middle, and away. We'll also put you in a position to get, provided your load is early enough, slow enough that we're getting a good read on the pitch. It puts us in a position to be able to handle breaking balls and changeups, really anything off speed. So we want to square up, and square up doesn't mean that this stride foot has to be totally closed and squared to home. It can be at a 45 right here, but square up means keep this front hip square so that these hips are in a squared position this way, as opposed to opening and leaking just a little bit quickly. Okay? Now as we start to run forward, what we'll see is the hands and the barrel of the bat will start to work out and around. When we get to contact, we are in a good position at contact. I think this pitch is probably middle in, but we're in a good position at contact. We're palm up, we're palm down. The other thing I see, Jacob, is that I really like is your head and eyes are looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. And I think it's really important for you to understand that as soon as the head and eyes come up and leave the hitting zone to track the ball, follow the flight of the ball, essentially at that time our swing is over. The barrel of our bat is going to follow our head and eyes. So most of the hitters that I have and work with, we get into the habit of anytime we're in the cage doing, whether it be tee work, soft toss, or even on the field for batting practice, we get into the habit of leaving our head and eyes down in the hitting zone for one count past contact so that we can get full extension through the baseball. Okay, so you're doing a really good job of that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go forward now, and we'll just kind of see the finish kind of pulling across your front side just a little bit quickly. I can tell this pitch was in, but even though the pitch is in, we can keep this stride foot at a 45, and it's going to give us the ability to handle pitches out here on the outer half and the outer third. And as I mentioned, it's not gonna it will definitely help you on off-speed pitches. So really, the drill that I would suggest for you to work on, Jacob, would just be a tee drill. And we're going to set this tee on the outer third of the plate. We're going to set it even with or maybe just slightly inside your stride foot, okay? And we're just going to have you load and get to that loaded position and just check that front foot. And let's keep it at 45 degrees. It can be a little bit less, but it can be as open as 45 degrees. Our main concern is this front hip right here. We don't want that leaking early, because that brings our bat, and that causes our bat path to work out and around the ball. So if we can get to that stride position, get to that good loaded position, right about here, where the foot sets down and we're at a 45, now we're in a position to be able to go ahead, drive this backside, drive it into the front side, then the elbow will slide underneath. Okay, we'll get to this connection point where the elbow comes underneath. Now we've got the hands and the elbow and the back hip are all lined up. This is the point where all of the power, all of the drive and the weight transfer with the lower half, it now passes off to the hands. You do a very good job of keeping this knee inside this stride foot, so you have a nice brace. You have something to hit against. But this stride foot is opened up to the point to where this hip wants to leak, and now staying on this pitch outer third will be very, very difficult. So go ahead, load, set your foot down, make sure that we're where we need to be, and now drive that knee, let the elbow slide underneath, connect, and keep that extension driving through this ball on the right side of the cage. You know, if we start to leak open, we're going to end up coming around this ball. What we'll see will be rollover ground balls to the third base side. Sometimes we'll see the barrel drag, and we'll miss this ball on the underneath side. We'll hit it up here in the net somewhere up on top. And we want to just drive this, basically drive a line drive, what would be like right through the second baseman, and that all takes place, or that all can take place, just by closing this stride foot up to 45, and now you've got better direction to get better bat path and better extension through this ball. Okay, that's something that I think will help you a great deal. I really want to thank you for coming to our camp, and good luck.